Spiders and magic, who cares? I finished the Spider-Man game. Woo! Within the walls of Stark Tower, everyone sat together in the main lobby. Upon Tony's request, it was cleared so that the briefing went uninterrupted. After a well-deserved good night's rest, the heroes woke early and gathered. Peter sat at the round table in costume without his mask. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Director-in-Chief, Nick Fury, already knew his identity before his disappearance, as did Tony and Logan. Peter considered Thor a friend, and he greatly admired Captain America. Sharing his secret with those two wasn't too difficult of a choice to make, especially since his return to Earth was only temporary. Twilight sat next to Peter in her civilian clothing. A violet jacket, a white button-up shirt underneath, and a pink skirt. She had no identity to hide, and after the events of last night, Twilight was persuaded by Doctor Strange to rest for a couple of days. Her body's magical supply was spent, and any attempt to exert herself would prove to be more damaging than anything else. Oh, for Celestia's sake, does anybody ever make mana potions? Spike sat away from the table, but remained within hearing distance, speaking whenever given the opportunity. Everyone remained vigilant in their seats, listening to everything Twilight had to say about Peter's disappearance. Fury raised his brow, particularly at the girl by Peter's side.
You mean to tell me that you're actually a pony from a parallel dimension, and that Spider-Man has been living with you the entire time?
Once or not, Nick Fury scowled a response before turning his glare towards Peter.
Spider-Man, where the hell have you been all this time? Tell me the truth.
Oh, my sweet Celestia, no, it's freaking Ultimates, Nick! Oh, and here I was hoping it was gonna be normal, intelligent Nick Fury! Well, technically it's only been a little over 3 months for me, Peter nonchalantly replied, taking a sip from his orange juice from a glass. And, the usual. I was summoned to a magical land by Twilight to fight a demigod, Dragon's Lackey. Think Spike only better, but weaker than Fing Fang Foom. I transformed into a pony, made lots of friends along the way, fell in love with an amazing girl. Pause, planting a kiss on Twilight's cheek. Much to the shudders of every Avenger there. She smiled, blushing, while Logan rolled his eyes, and Spike gagged to himself. I'm with you, Spike! Peter took Twilight's hand into his own before continuing. Said amazing girl became a princess, transformed to an alicorn. I became her knight and prince. Besides that, nothing much.
Doesn't this feel like a little out of your range to be a knight and a prince?
Yeah, pretty much, but what can you do? Nick stared blankly at Peter with his one good eye, groaning as he shook his head.
Why is it when anyone else tells me that story, it sounds ridiculous? But when it comes out of your mouth, it actually makes sense.
Peter's smile grew wide. Because I'm special. Logan groaned.
You're special, all right.
Tony placed his hand over his mouth, concealing a stifled laughter. So, the beautiful woman standing right next to me is actually a pony, and you two are an item? Before long, Stark lost his composure and broke down, guffawing at the top of the lungs. Oh, that's rich. Maybe not as rich as me, but he was laughing hysterically at this point, tapping his palm against the table. Peter shook his head, exasperated. He knew this was coming. Hey, in case you haven't realized yet, Twilight's very intelligent. She's as beautiful as she is smart. Plus, I'm a pony too, so it's not weird. Yes, it is! His tone was apprehensive and defensive, but Twilight didn't seem to mind as he giggled blissfully at Peter's compliments. Spider-Man wrapped his arm around his girl's shoulder and pulled her close. His blush as pink as hers. Laugh it up, Stark. You're just jealous. You wish you had someone as special as Twilight. Hi, this is Pepper Potts. Hi. No, guys, we're going with the cheap versions of every single character here, so, Pep, you're gonna have to change. What? Oh, but I hate that version of me. Okay, I'll get her. Right. Hello, I'm Pepper Potts. A pleasure to meet you all. Back in 2005, before the Iron Man cartoon, before the Iron Man movie that we all know and love came to being, Peter Parker had a Pepper Potts in that. That Pepper Potts was British. There, now that we have our reference. Tony raised his hand and waved his hands dismissively with tears in his eye. Oh no, I'm not knocking it, Peter. He snorted. We all have our fetishes. He restrained his laughter, much to Peter's chagrin. I like you, Tony. Tony furrowed a brow, trying to face Peter. Fetishes? Ignoring Iron Man, Peter rolled his eyes and whispered in Twilight's ear, You don't want to know. Logan leaned back against his chair, pausing to remove his leather jacket.
Still, 3 months. It's no wonder you look like you haven't aged any, kid. Plus, it sounds like you've been living in a colorful paradise.
Growled lowly, disgusting and forming his gruff features.
Sounds like boring as hell to me.
Peter chuckled. It's not as boring as you think. Questry is surprisingly dangerous at times with stuff like dragons, hydras, demon gods, Twilight in the mornings. Ow! Twilight's elbow strike was swift, connecting with Peter's arm. Captain America placed his forearm across the table and sternly stared at the girl. Why is he staring sternly? He doesn't have any right to be pissed off. Oh god, it is Ultimate's Cap, isn't it? Miss Twilight, what can you tell us about Discord? Dr. Strange mentioned that the Green Goblin has his powers. I'd like to know what we're up against. Norman Osborn's unstable mental capacity makes him dangerous and unpredictable. Twilight shared a glance at Peter, prompting the young man to move his arm around her shoulder. In my world, Discord is a spirit of disharmony and chaos, a Draconequus. He's a rash individual who enjoys spreading chaos throughout the world at opponent's expense. His powers are almost limitless. He can bend reality in any way, shape, or form and alternate to his leisure, whether it's chocolate milk rain or turning off gravity. However, Discord is rather manic. It is more of a nuisance than a threat. He mind raped your friends! Alright, he mind raped them, turned them around, and then proceeded to break you down! How's that a threat? He, didn't kill us? There are so much worse things that happen to people than killing! He's not necessarily confrontational, he simply wants to have fun.
Thor nodded. Reminds me of my brother Loki. But I fear what may happen to Midgard now that someone as evil and vile as Osborn wields such power.
Logan huffed.
Nothing good. We found that out last night the hard way.
Tony ran his fingers over his goatee. Last night was clearly meant to set an example and put us on notice. Osborn recruited and brainwashed several individuals. Winter Soldier, Radioactive Man, Scorpion, Bullseye, Fing Fang Fo... Okay, I can excuse Bullseye, but do we really need to bring in Winter Soldier? Oh god, this is Marvel Ultimate Alliance! Yeah, this is Marvel Ultimate Alliance! People don't believe me? Think about it. The list that we have right now, Spider-Man, Thor, Wolverine, and Captain America. Those were the first form people that you started off with when you got started off the game. Then you fought the Helicarrier. That was your first level. The monster you faced off against, Fing Fang Foom. The mooks you fought were robots. As a matter of fact, I bet if I were to look online, I would find the exact footage of Captain America rampaging through those robots with the exact same descriptions. And the bad guys that this lists, Winter Soldier, Radioactive Man, Scorpion, Bullseye, Fing Fang Foom, yeah, those are the bad guys that popped up on freaking Marvel Ultimate Alliance. My god, I haven't seen this many rip-offs being shameless since the last time I ran Mikan. And why Winter Soldier? Why not Whiplash? Why not have Bucky be with Captain America? The only reason why Winter Soldier is here is because he was a bad guy on the games. And the only reason why he was a bad guy in the games was because he wasn't developed into the well-rounded character that we know and love him as today. Please now, DC. You can try and copy Winter Soldier with with our buddy Jason as many times as you want, but you can never make him as good as Winter Soldier. Most of them have been seen and are under custody. At least we can free until we can free them from their control. Scorpion and Shimmer are the only ones unaccounted for. Shaking his head, Tony exhaled. Again. It's just last night. It's going to get worse from here on out. As far as we know, Osborn's already got several of our friends under his control. That's not missing any known colonels. Hey! Peter's voice was calm, but uncharacteristically deep. Fury raised his hand in acknowledgement. prompting Spider-Man to continue. Before the attack on the helicarrier, when was the last time anyone saw Osborn? Strange told me he disappeared not long after I did. Fury was silent, as if contemplating a proper answer before he finally responded.
It's been 4 years since anyone's seen Osborn. It's been almost 3 since anyone heard from him. A month after your sudden disappearance, the Goblin was seen leading to Sinister Six in New York. Rhino, Shocker, Vulture, Kraven, Electro, and Dr. Octopus. They led a string of attacks across the city, making it loud and clear they wanted you to fight them, but you never came. Rumors quickly spread that you were already killed. Others suggested you left the city and didn't look back.
Peter folded his arms. I should be grateful for the rumors. That's probably what kept Osborn from going after Aunt May for information and saved her from becoming a hostage. And the Avengers did nothing to stop the Sinister Six. Why? Oh. Okay. And I just read the next paragraph. Good. Nick's expression remained stoic.
You know how insane he is. No question he was desperate to find you. Eventually, the Avengers dispatched the group before their attacks could reach more innocent civilians. After a few battles, the Sinister Six went underground, weren't heard from for an entire year. Speculation spread when Rhino came crashing out of the sky and an old warehouse was engulfed in flames. We managed to pull Shocker, Kraven, Vulture, Electro, and Octavius from the wreckage, but there was no Osborn.
Tony held her hand out. Just as Discord told us. He managed to send his spirit through the astral plane and warned us that Osborn turned on his allies. In regards to the explosion, it was the Goblin testing out his new abilities. Sad to say, Sinister Six didn't stand a chance. That was 2-3 weeks for us. By now, Osborn has full control of Discord's powers. Maybe you shouldn't have spent all your time wasting on pointless filler, Twilight.
Fury shook his head. Makes some sense now. When Rhino came to, he informed the authorities about what had happened. We've been trying to find Goblin ever since. Whenever we got close, he always moved to another undisclosed location and left little to no evidence behind to follow. We couldn't figure it out. Green Goblin was able to take down several supervillains at once with ease, but he went out of his way to stay out of sight. Fortunately, he didn't tell his associates while he was playing with the power he had. Couldn't use Octavius to track him down.
Hell, Dr. Spider-Man blurted out, furrowing his brow. Doc Ock was the one who created the particle blaster that incapacitated Discord, and he was the one who made the device to transfer his powers into Osborn. Octavius knew something, I'm sure of it.
Octavius died before he could tell us anything important.
You killed Doc Ock. You killed Doc Ock. You killed one of my favorite Spider-Man villains? Fuck you, Vic!
Causing Peter's eyes to widen. Seems Osborn knew that too. Let's just say he was thorough at keeping Octavius quiet.
Nick walked around the table, pulling his arms behind his back.
All Dr. Octopus told us was that Osborn was planning something big. Won't be able to do anything to stop it.
I raised her finger. Not quite. Discord told us about the device. Osborn's source of power is built into a small transfer device, embedded in the back of his neck. If we could destroy it or remove it, Discord will be free, and Osborn will lose his extra power.
Sure.
Look at Smirk. I'm seeing his claws for his knuckles.
Sounds good, darling. What's the plan? Go find Osborn and bust some heads?
Captain America shook his head.
It won't be that easy. It's clear that Osborn went out of his way to lure Spider-Man back to Earth. The question is, why? Is it because of a personal vendetta?
No! Osborn just lured his most hated nemesis, the bane of his existence, over to Earth because he wanted to invite Peter, Fortia, and Krampus. What do you think, Steve? Healing deeply, the man closed his eyes.
Besides, even if we knew where the masters of evil were, it wouldn't be wise for us to attack them as we are. Osborn has mind control after all. We need a plan to make sure the same thing doesn't happen to us. We're cutting it thin as we are. Right now, I think it'd be best if we wait for them to make the next move. At least until we can learn what Osborn's motives are.
Peter stammered at a late realization.
Speaking of the Hulk, where's Dr. Banner right now? After your girlfriend blasted him with that friendship rainbow, Bruce has been feeling rather odd, Terry replied hesitantly.
Is it anything bad? Is he still under Osborn's control? Peter quickly questioned, voice filling with concern. Tuggles escaped Tony's mouth, causing Peter to arch an eyebrow. No, it's nothing bad. You said the elements of harmony are used to repel evil, right? Once Twilight gave an affirming nod, Tony smiled. Well, I don't think I've ever seen Banner so happy in my life. He volunteered to keep himself under quarantine until further notice. There are a few tests he wants to run to see how the Hulk side of his personality was affected by the blast. Sounds like we won't be hearing from Dr. Banner for a few days, but he seems more than okay with it now how much he was humming.
Alright, no chit-chat. We need to go over the details of your next mission.
Nick Fury declared, clearing his throat. Everyone directed their gaze in the man's direction. In turn, he turned aside to the young couple.
Spider-Man, medical personnel haven't cleared you to go back out yet, but he said you should be fine in about a week.
Peter rose slightly to protest, but a loud pop escaped from his midsection, forcing the man to clutch at his aching region and not comply. Nick turned his attention to the only female in the room, and massaged the area that perturbed her lover so immensely.
Dr. Strange informed me that attack you pulled last night on the Hulk, your time travel bit put a ton of stress on your body. He doesn't think your body can withstand putting out that much magic twice. Everything else is fine. Just don't try anything too severe, at least for the next few days. For the sake of the world, I want you two to rest. The moment you're able, I hope you consider joining our task force to help stop the Masters of Evil. Will you help us save the world?
Twilight nodded before bowing her head out of respect. It would be an honor, thank you. I'll be happy to help. Spike stepped over to the round table till his large head hovered Twilight's tiny frame.
If Twilight's staying, I'll help too.
Peter folded his arms, tilting his gaze over his former features. I personally feel better if I sent you two home away from all this. Twilight and Spike then proceeded to bitch slap Peter for his stupidity. Sideswiping as Twilight's hand took a hold of his, Peter smiled half-heartedly, knowing he was being. Twilight would never let me live it down if I tried to take her out of the action. Twilight smiled. We'll help you, Fury. Let's give Dr. Strange a call whenever you have a mission for us. Okay, the next of it is just Padding and Trixie talking to a certain mail mare. Do we really want to... Wait. We have something to read. What? Come on. We're just getting more and more pointless padding about how awesome Peter is. Yes, but Trixie says that you should read it because there is a certain cute scene that could make it all better. Fine. Derpy meets up with Trixie and they have a conversation. Allow me to sum it up. Trixie misses Spider-Man. He was annoying, but he kind of misses him. I know. I miss him too. I'm a big fan of his. Do you mind, Trixie ask why you're such a Spider-Man fan? Okay, so here's the story. Derpy rested on the bed with a sad expression in her glossy yellow eyes. It was meant to be another day, but as her luck would have it, everything turned for the worse. She dropped her mail bag, losing dozens of letters in the process. While Derpy retrieved what could be in the middle of a busy street, a large carriage rolled by, oblivious to the situation. Ponies pulling the carriage could not see Derpy due to her low position. It was easy to understand how that turned out. Derpy sighed, cringing at the sharp bolt of pain that ran through her back. Needless to say, she didn't stand a chance against that much weight. But the doctors considered the mare lucky for only suffering a broken wing when it should have been her spine that snapped. Derpy grimaced as her wing throbbed under its splint. The doctor considered her lucky, as he found her luck was rotten as ever. Her boss threatened to fire her, as this was the 5th accident Derpy had in the past year while on the clock. Some of the letters he was supposed to deliver were destroyed from the records, while the others were lost, scattered across the wind. They would no doubt come out of her check. Again. Derpy whimpered, choking back tears and sobs. She was already known to be a walking disaster area by her co-workers, but her infamous reputation was spreading like a virus, especially after the amounts of property damage she had caused. She was clutched in the worst possible way. All Ponyville was aware of it. It may certainly have explained why no pony came to see her. Everything was always wrong whenever she was around. Derpy buried her face in her hooves, sobbing as strands of her golden mane struck to her cheeks. It was her intention to be this way. She tried her best to be helpful, but her luck made life more difficult than it needed to be. Her flight coordination or lack thereof made it impossible for Derpy to pass flight school, let alone try out for the Wonderbolts. Her obliviousness made Derpy a health hazard for weather control, no pony wanting to be on the receiving end of a lightning strike again. Now Derpy couldn't even be a male bear without injuring some pony, specifically herself as he cruelly learned. Her sobs grew in volume, but some pony offered her a tissue, prompting Derpy to accept the gift without a second thought. Thank you, she sniffed, wiping her face clean of tears. Derpy squeaked, her crossed eyes shooting open, having realized the unicorn stallion was perched by the window in a squatting position. Guards and a pair of red and blue ties with a spire emblem over his chest. The pony was easily recognizable, aside from the flash of blonde hair that stood behind the stallion. Derpy begged to leave in front of the confines of her bed, but Ansel's aching protest, forcing the bear to stay put. However, she still had the strength to place her hose over her gaping mouth and release a high-pitched squeal. Oh my gosh! Spider-Man! Spider-Man chuckled as he hopped into the room, leaving the window open. He offered Derpy a collection of flowers along with a card. The mayor graciously accepted the gifts, placing the letter over the nightstand next to her while she took in the sweet aroma of her daisies. However, a small filly rushed over to Derpy's bedside. A large yellow iris is centered on her. Derpy sniffled, taking the tiny gray pony and her host of spider injuries. Mommy! Mr. Spider-Man, take me flying! Dicky peeked, nuzzling her face into Derpy's chest. Oh! Dixie, you really like it. It's a Dicky and Derpy moment. She felt her eyes watering, since the heroic pony has a king to visit her, and he brought her heroinly daughter too. Eventually, Derpy managed to calm her nerves, to the best of her ability anyway. She wiped her face clean, but small tears from the corner of her eyes, once Dinky nuzzled to her lap. Spider-Man took a seat in a chair by the bedside. So it was arguably her worst day ever. It suddenly became one of the best. In every way possible. You only read just because of Refox. You can sit down and think his voice and eases. Okay. That was sweet. Although, why wasn't that earlier? Pierre snows abruptly, wiping his nose afterward. Several hours had passed. Pierre, Twilight, and Spike had returned to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Spike chose to stay in the main lobby, while Pierre and Twilight went to their quarters. Twilight watched Pierre densely for days at a time after the meeting, nagging him not to strain his injuries. The Avengers were called away to deal with a situation at a locale called the Omega Base, Masters of Evil having been spotted there. Pierre groaned inwardly. If there was a chance for Osborn to make an appearance, he wanted to be there to help stop him. Pierre knew he couldn't have been much use to the others in his present physical condition. Wasn't if he couldn't go. There had been times when Pierre fought supercriminals in far worse health than his current state. By all means, he was only bruised and battered. Nothing was broken, at least he thought. In either case, there was too much at stake for anyone to take unnecessary risks. When the time was right, he would be ready to help take Osborn down. Pierre managed to smile once he typed a command to his laptop. As the computer processed the information, he turned to his seat, directed his hazel gaze towards Twilight, all the while continuing to wear his costume with the exception of his mask. As he approached him with carefully concerned feeling of fire and irises, Pierre forced himself into a standing position before wrapping his arm around Twilight's waist, prompting the girl to place her hands over his solid chest in response. You may think that this is some sort of cliched romantic bit with Pierre and Twilight, but Pierre's misunderstanding his signals, Twilight wants the freaking computer! Pulled her closer to their lips met, pressing further into each other by the second. Twilight lost herself in a sea of pleasure and bliss, bowing contently as she leaned further into the kiss. He eventually parted, leaving Twilight's cheeks burning peach-shaded crimson. Pierre grinned with a cheeky smile she grew to adore. Twilight peeped up, refusing to leave her lover's strong gasp. What's that for? Her lips quivered, begging to taste her lover once more. Pierre instinctively obliged the girl's wish, pressing his lips against hers a second time. It's just my way of saying I'm sorry. I love you, and he paused, running his fingers through Twilight's silky lush hair, as well as tightening his braids hard by. Thanks for putting up with me. Pierre hesitantly broke his hold, much to his and Twilight's dismay. He never took his seat in his chair, looking away his guilt-filled eyes. You already have your crown back. You can return to Equestria any time. But you're staying behind, risking your life for my sake. I just wanted to know how much this means. I mean, you don't have to do this. I'm a hero. It's what we do. Contrary to what some people believe, when there is trouble, even if it's your own universe, even if it's not your universe, It's kind of a thing for a hero to do their job and save the day. Unlike what my cousin believes, where he believes that since it's not your universe, you should stay out of their business. To that I say, fuck it. I don't have to, I want to, because it's the right thing to do. I just kind of summarized everything down below. Considering how extreme the situation become, I have to stay and make sure you don't do anything stupid. And you completely ruined that hero bit with that little romantic bolt. Thank you! Because you got me there. Then, we're done having this conversation. I'm staying with you, and that's final. Twilight declared before directing her sight to a electronic device Pierre was tinkling with. Once on her screen scrolled through the countless names and numbers. Scientific curiosity getting the better of her, Twilight placed her hands on the desk, leaned forward on a seat and Pierre's allowed to get a closer look. You said this is called a laptop, right? What is it exactly? Scratching the side of his head with a finger, Pierre chuckled offhandedly. Just then, he was reminded he was indeed dating an alien from another dimension. You can say it's a portable computer. We use laptops and computers for many reasons. Pierre minimized the page and opened a new tab, showing Twilight various things as maps, recipes, movie posters, porn. The gleam in Twilight's eyes grew brighter by the moment, and her excitement was becoming apparent. The girl visiting Pierre's lap. With a few clicks, you can use the World Wide Web to find any information you want. Guess you could see a laptop with internet as a library packed into a tiny machine. Twilight's stomach tightened while her muscles trembled with excitement, sending small tremors through Pierre's body in the process. Wow, the technology of your world is so advanced. I can barely comprehend how half of the facilities at Stark Tower worked. She turned over in Pierre's lap, facing astrally the young man. Twilight's eyes grew wide and pleadful, reminiscent of the puppy dog stare. Is there any way we could see more? I'm glad to study the technological advance of your world, Pierre. Pierre chuckled. You are like a kid at a candy store right now. How can I say no? Twilight's face flushed at the comment, but Pierre kissed the tip of her nose, dismissing her embarrassment. Says the Avengers will be needing us for a few days. I can give you a tour of the city. How about I give you a tour guide and a date? We can start tomorrow. Sound good? No! Twilight nodded feverishly, giving Pierre an apprehensive kiss on both of his cheeks. Yes, thank you, Pierre. Oh, no! Pierre shrugged his shoulders half-heartedly. It's a good thing Tony let me do $2,000. The least I could do is show you a good time, Twilight. Twilight waved her hand dismissively, but wrapping her arms lovingly around his neck. His lips hovered over his, her hot yet fresh breath pressing over his mouth. It's okay. As long as you're there with me, that's all I really care about. Pierre's lips curled to a smile as his hand fell over Twilight's hips, caressing her skin under the silk of her clothing. Twilight shuddered, her pleased nose prompting Pierre to continue this action. They said, something else I want to do. You could come after this course. Smart. Twilight's reactions to his touch were most satisfying. Pierre ran his hand over her soft skin, earning feral points for the girl in his return. Did a little research and found someone. A few hours I want to go visit that address. His hand traveled higher, slowly. It'd be great if you were there with me. Twilight's mind grew fuzzy, as he bit her lip and nodded. Her mind too frazzled to form words. Retorted search wouldn't suffice, but Pierre's hands were already striking the most sensitive parts of her skin. Twilight earnestly chastised herself, all while her body melted in Pierre's arms with growl of pleasure. This was degrading. Twilight was a scholar, top graduate at Celestia School for Gifted Unicorns, a princess, and a centerpiece of the Elements of Harmony. She was a dignified individual, but right now, she was nothing more than a lustful girl begging for her lover to explore her body further. I'm offended by this. Anybody else offended by this? I'm a little offended by this. It was disgraceful. Twilight's arms tightened around Pierre's back, despite how much she hated her own behavior. Twilight felt perfectly content with the urges that were fixed in her mind and body, to some extent anyway. After the night Twilight spent together with Pierre, Keynes mentioned that love could be just as physical as it was emotional. However, there was a difference between lust and love. You're right now going into the lust section. As long as both were shared and directed towards her special sun pony, Twilight had nothing against you say to appear. Pierre was the center of her emotions. Joy, frustration, sadness, anger, love, and even lust. She would not have given him her virginity if she wasn't sure about that. Pierre's mouth opened before falling over the crunk of Twilight's neck. As he suckled and licked down her skin, sending Twilight over the edge. My Celestia's grace, this was too much to withstand. Using what little magic and concentration she possessed, Twilight shut the lie off in her room before turning Pierre's affectionate actions tenfold. She still had much learned about her developing relationship with Pierre. but at least Twilight could gather was that love was as pleasurable as it was confusing. Tell me about it. I mean, when you look at all these books and techniques, it's just simply weird.
You may have freed me from my prison, but I owe you nothing.
The older man snarled, crimson irises glaring intently at Osborn. His back hair was long, wedging off into an ethereally at ends. His build was lean yet muscular, silver armor adding to his great weight. His skin was fair, although trails of black mace escaped from his being. Sunset Simmer approached the man, but he retrieved his blade from the shadows, holding the tip near her neck.
If you value your life, Wedge, I suggest you keep your distance.
Growling, Sunset gritted her teeth and held her hands up defensively. Who do you think you are? Master Osborn has given you a new lease on life. You'll be wise to! Black tendrils wore out, wrapping tightly around the girl's neck as it lifted her from the ground. That's right, woman! You let the man talk! You sit there in your little corner and, I don't know, do female things.
I am King Sombra. No fool will lead me.
Holding his hand out, the tendril tossed Sunset Simmer across the room, sending her flying in the wall. She brought her hand over her neck, struggling to free herself. When Sombra stood to the blade, turned sharply at his heel to make his exit. But he stopped in his tracks, pausing to glare listlessly at Osborn, smiled wickedly in his direction. I assure you, I will be back to finish. For now, I have an urgent matter to attend to. Before anyone could react, the black mist spread over Sombra's body, allowing it to fade into darkness. Simmer forced herself to her feet, hissing as the robots gathered. Don't just stand there. After him, now. Osborn raised his hand. That will be necessary, Sunset. The robots scattered throughout the room froze. Simmer raised a brow. Why, Master? He just threatened your life. Osborn laughed under his breath before taking a seat in a large stone chair. I may not be able to control Sombra at the moment, but his intentions are clear. He wants revenge, so why should I stop him? Resting his hand on a palm, the Goblin grinned. Let him draw Spider-Man out. Once they nearly destroy each other, we'll take down what remains. Snapping his fingers, Osborn glanced to the side as a feminine figure leapt from the ceiling, landed near his position. Follow him, and make sure you're not spotted. Simmer cackled, folding her arms once the woman was tucked out of sight. How exciting! A fight to the death, and we have front row seats. It's the same Parker and his princess are on the Omega base with the other heroes. How long do you think it'll take for Sombra to draw Spider-Man out? Osborn smirked. A few days at most. For now, we wait. Why wasn't this Doom? I mean, really, all this isn't Osborn. This is Dr. Doom. You're giving all the things that Dr. Doom would do to Osborn. I think that's my biggest problem. This isn't Doom. A few hours had passed, giving Pierre and Twilight time to recollect their senses. With the aid of a teleportation spell, the pair found their way to the quiet of the city. Twilight walked hand in hand with Pierre, who finally dressed back in civilian clothing, but she knew he kept his costume on underneath his attire in case of emergency. The city was much like Manhattan, with a large number of populace. Twilight's eyes wandered, taking in as many sights as possible, but her gaze settled on her lover once he stopped in his tracks, desolate expression on his face. Considering who they were going to see, Twilight understood why Pierre seemed so disheartened. She gave his hand a gentle squeeze and followed a simple smile. The best thing she could do was remain supportive. Her thoughtfulness seemed to have carried an effect. Pierre managed to smile for the first time since he left the Sanctum Sanctorum. He brought Twilight's hand over his mouth and kissed it gently, causing the girl's cheek to blossom. Opening, Pierre glanced to the side where a small home stood. We're here, just like I remember it. The house was simplistic as best, with a brick exterior. Pierre opened the gate, allowing Twilight to enter the yard first before he followed. Each step he took felt heavier than the last as he approached the front door. So the surrounding gravity had been increased beyond measure. Not for the girl leading away with a vice grip on his hand, Pierre wouldn't have been able to complete the journey. He shook his head. What am I supposed to say? Heck, what can I say? He finally reached the door, but Pierre turned away, making it a hasty retreat. This is a bad idea. Maybe we should head back for the Sanctum Sanctorum. Twilight tightening her grip on her hand, her eyes staring down the young man intently. Your palms are sweaty and your body temperature is rising. Telltale signs of nervousness. Bemused, Pierre stared blankly at the girl. Twilight was unusually perceptive whenever the mood suited her, particularly at times when Pierre was troubled with something. Lucy had her own sixth sense, but whereas Pierre could detect immediate danger, Twilight could tell something was amiss with her boyfriend. A concerned girlfriend sense, some might call it. Pierre furrowed his brow, shook his head, quietly denying the girl's accusation. But as breathing accelerated longer, Twilight held a knowing glare in his direction. How ironic was it that Spider-Man faced countless near-death scenarios without flinching, yet his tiny girlfriend terrified him to no end. Pierre let out a defiant sigh. Fine, okay, I'm a little nervous, but can you believe me? His presence softened and his shoulders fell in a slump. I disappeared without trace. No phone call, no letters, no nothing. As far as she knows, I either croaked or stopped caring enough to visit. His voice wavered. What can I possibly say to make up for 4 years? The truth, Twilight said without hesitation, causing Pierre's eyes to widen. All the while, the stare in her eyes remained firm. Twilight managed to give Pierre a warm smile. All things considered, this may be your last chance to find closure. What better way to start telling the truth? After everything you two have gone through, I'm sure she'll be happy to see you're okay. Nodding, Twilight raised Pierre's hand and pressed it against her cheek, kissing the top of it affectionately. You don't have to worry. I'll support you no matter what happens. I promise. Coming Twilight's chin with his hand, Pierre grinned before nodding his lips to hers. I can't say it enough. You're the best, Twilight. I'm lucky to have you. You know the one thing I should never be doing during your shift, which is apparently the main part of your story? Feeling bored! Once he parted, Pierre inhaled deeply, turned his back to the door, all the while waving Twilight on. She did as she was told and knocked on the door. Sounds shuffling and rummaging behind the door came from behind. His footsteps steadily approached the door, pausing behind the curtains. As the tumblers of the lock came undone, Pierre felt his heart rate quicken. As he had a corner of his eye, he poked it back into Twilight's hand, prompting the girl to look back for a second. I love you, he muttered. So pathetic. Plus, as well as the sweet smile formed on Twilight's features. I love you too, she whispered, sharply turning around as the door opened. An older woman stepped out, furrowing her brow at the sight of a young girl who smiled at greeting, and a man with his back turned. Her height was shorter than that of Twilight's, and differences between their age and complexion. The older woman's hair was light gray, his skin wrinkly yet fair. Pierre realized she was staring. Twilight shook her head and giggled nervously. Hi, Miss May Parker. My name is Twilight, and I've heard so much about you from someone special. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. An awkward silence occurred between both women, adding to Pierre's nervousness, but any embarrassment Twilight might have felt was dashed when May smiled, sucking to justify a soft handshake. Well, aren't you the sweetest, most beautiful thing ever? She honestly replied, her smile remaining intact. Oh, Aunt May, it's good to see you after the Spider-Man game, because, you see, after what... Trixie is sorry, but she knows that the game has been out for about a few months now, but we still know that there are some of you who haven't played it yet. So for the sake of all of you who are listening, Trixie's viewing the spoilers. And boy, did I cry like a baby. I'm flattered you heard about me. May I ask who's that special someone? Is it your side friend who's too shy to face me? Twilight nodded, grabbing Pierre's hand once Foster stepped in. Yes, ma'am. He's my boyfriend. He's very sweet and eager to meet you. She gets closer, smiling. Say hello! Pierre exhaled, lifting his gaze from the ground. He felt like an ant fighting the sun. So small in a large world, yet Twilight was a beacon of light, chasing the darkness that threatened to engulf his confidence. No matter what happened, she would be by his side regardless. Slowly but surely, Pierre managed to turn around and face the older woman, revealing his face to her for the first time. May's eyes shot open and her hands fell over her mouth, tears quickly falling down her cheeks. Twilight relinquished her hold before stepping back out of respect. Pierre's smile was weak, masked only by the sad look in her eyes. 3.5 months soon felt like an eternity, but it did for Pierre. Missed his mother figure beyond comprehension. He had no idea if Aunt May would shun or embrace him. The idea of rejection from her was a horrendous thought, more so than Venom and Carnage combined. However, the idea was swiftly cast out. Sobbing, May rushed over to Pierre and embraced her nephew. Closing his eyes, Pierre smiled as his aunt returned his honest affection. Twice smiled, stiffening into sight of her nice trembling shoulders, a tear-stained smile. I'm home, Aunt May.